Sometimes I'd go out and people would say, solo? Like you're alone? Dude. Yeah. Get with the program. I'm alone. And it's okay. Hi, my name is Sharmin Rashid. I'm originally born in Pakistan. I grew up in Canada and now I live in Austin, Texas. When I turned 17, I asked my mom, I said, can I go to Europe with my girlfriends backpacking? And she said, no, honey, you have to get married this year. And she introduced me to 3 men and she said, pick. I was 17 and we got engaged within 2 weeks of meeting. I basically didn't have any self-worth, so I was like, I can't hurt this person, even if it means selling my soul. And I got married. It was 2 people that had nothing in common. He was 31 when I was 17, so the only part of that life that I really loved was his parents. They were better to me than my own parents, like phenomenal people. I tried working, which he didn't like. He didn't like his wife working. It was an ego symbol. So I asked him if we could have a child. And he was like, if you have to. So I had a son. He was perfect. Like he just did everything easily and sweetly. And if I was teaching him something, I only had to show it to him once and he got it. And I thought I was going to be married forever because that was the agreement. So it didn't matter if you're happy or unhappy. If you're married to a Pakistani, he can divorce you and he doesn't have to give you a dime. He told me that he wanted to get married to this lady. Now, at that point, I replied, okay. Because in Pakistan, men marry up to 4 women. It's part of the deal. It's not a big issue. So when I replied, okay, he said, no, you don't understand. She wants to be the only wife. And that's when my world cracked. Nothing. And I was being asked to leave my home at the age of 24 with a 4-year-old, and I didn't even know how to pay a bill. Took my son, got on a plane, and went back to Canada. I mean, that's the only place I knew. I studied to be an accountant at night, and I raised my son. So I had a full-time job. 10 years later, I was introduced to my second husband. I married him because I was introduced to him. I didn't date him. I thought that, again, it was the right marriage because he told me that he wanted to get married and have kids, and I was really wanting a normal life. I wanted the white picket fence. He ignored me to the point where he would work all day and then he'd go out with his friends at night and come home at 2, 3 in the morning. So I was pretty much by myself in Austin, didn't know a soul. And one thing I didn't become was jaded. Like I always stayed in gratitude. So for example, I was grateful that I had a place to live, that I could put my son in a good school. Yeah. And so when we went to counseling, he felt that the relationship was wonderful, that the best that it could possibly be, because we had come to such a good understanding. And I felt that he was right. The relationship was the best that it could possibly be, but it wasn't good enough for me. So I initiated the second divorce that I had. So I moved out on my own in Austin, terrified to have my own place, but did it anyway, and started going on dates, which were terrible initially. Got better. It ended up being a wonderful decade, from 40 to 50. I'm 51 now. I just turned 51. Made wonderful friends, traveled, finally made it to Europe here, what I wanted to do when I was 17. I bought a backpack online and showed up. So I don't think that I feel that it's unfair as much as I feel that it's unfortunate that I couldn't experience having a life with 2.4 kids. At the same time, I was able to experience different things that other people couldn't. I think the lesson in all of it is you can't expect someone else to make the decisions for you. I was raised in Canada, but I was very much a product of my Pakistani background because my parents were so strict. People just want to be themselves, and unfortunately, parents want the kids to be who they want them to be. It's always like, oh, you don't measure up. The world is much tougher. And that's not true. I think that the world is as tough as you make it. If you believe that it's going to be difficult, it's difficult. But if you believe that it's not going to be difficult and you can do it, you can do it. Life is not about being miserable and getting through it. Life is about joy. It's about learning. It's about growing as a person and meeting people. It's not about punishing yourself or getting through things because you can do it or you have to do it. I'm not saying be a quitter. All I'm saying is just choose. Like if you have two paths and you know that you can be really happy being a psychologist instead of taking biology, be a psychologist. Be a nutritionist. It doesn't matter. As long as you're happy, everything else comes and falls into place.
Perfect. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. That was fun.